Stage 2 of this project is going to deal with adding type to your document and how to edit it and customize it for any of your other projects. To begin, let's go to our Layers panel, and we should have deleted away the template layer. So I'm going to select it, click on the little trash can, and then say yes to that warning box. I'm also going to lock down the lemon layer and turn off its visibility. We're going to create a new layer, and let's double click the name of it and call it type. Everything we do for this stage will be done in the type layer. Now, to add text to your document, we need to use the type tool. This tool looks like a big T at the top of your toolbox, and do be aware that there's some other type tools that are associated with it. We're just going to use the regular type tool. With this tool selected, to add type to your document, simply click once. It'll add the words Lorem Ipsum to give you an idea of what font you have and the size of it that it's currently at. Let's type the word cafe. And you can see this has a blinking cursor to indicate that I can either add or remove or make edits at that insertion point. From here, to further edit it, let's choose our direct selection tool. This is the white arrow tool. When I have this tool selected, you'll see the baseline that your characters are sitting on. With this tool, I can also move it around. And if you pay attention to the very top of your control panel, you can see I've got a list of my fonts, their styles, their sizes, and some paragraph alignment. To give me further control, let's open up the character panel. We'll go to Window, down to Type, and choose Character. This character panel gives me full control over exactly how I want my font to appear. So with it still selected, let's go over to our character font name. You can hit the drop-down menu and see all of them are listed. But to quickly access it, let's highlight the font name and start typing ATC. And there you can see Garnet Medium and Garnet Ultra already appear. And if I hover over, you can see it change it up. I'm going to choose ATC Garnet Medium, and you can see it'll stay on that font. Another way you can edit a font is by changing up the size of it using your selection tool. Let's choose the black arrow selection tool. When I do this, I get my bounding box going around it. Then I can click on any of the control points and be able to drag it out. Let's make it roughly 1/2 inch tall. So I'm looking at that height. I know it's getting in the way of that character. So let's move this. So right about there. Now the downside of doing this is that you can easily skew or distort your image. And if this happens, in my case I'm intentionally making these a little bit taller, check out the bottom of your character options. Now if you don't see these options, you may need to click on the little options tab at the top. And you can see you can hide or show them. But I'm looking at this horizontal scale. See how it's at 92% and the vertical is at 100%? Let's change the horizontal back to 100% and hit return. And this will put our height and width exactly proportional the way it's intended to be. Let's also make our type much larger by typing a specific size right here to 72 points. Hit return. Now you can see we've got some nice large type to work with. Choosing our type tool again, you can quickly select a word by double clicking on it. You can see it automatically highlights the whole thing. To adjust the spacing in between all of the letters, we need to first adjust the tracking of it. With all of the letters selected, go to the second row and change the tracking value from 0 to -10. This will bring our characters in just slightly. And if you want to adjust the distance between just 2 of the characters, let's move our cursor to in between the C and the A. Notice that only the C and the A, in between those, is what we have. Nothing else is selected. We're going to change our kerning. The kerning value is located next to the tracking, and it gives the distance between just 2 characters. Let's do that at -20. That'll bring that in just slightly. This is a good point. We can go up to File and Save and continue on to the next part of our exercise. So with your type tool selected, Let's click outside of this area, and your cursor should change from the little I bar to a cursor point, and click once. That will deselect what we have, and click again to add some new insertion point. I'm going to move my character panel out of the way just so we can see what we're working with. Whoops. Let's type the word lemon, L-I-M-O-N. Another way you can move type around without actually deselecting your type tool is by holding down the command key. Notice this gives me my selection tool that I used last, and then I can move it over and around as long as I'm holding that command key. I'm going to move it till the I lines right up with the F. Right about there. I can then release everything. I'm going to hold down my command key again and then drag it up just slightly till there's a little bit of space between the M and the E. That's what the book suggests. Again, this is a good stopping point, so we'll go to File and Save. Now comes for the fun part. We're going to really customize the look of these letters. If we go to our Layers panel and we expand the Type layer, you'll notice that Lemon and Cafe have their own individual single layers. If we use our selection tool, the black arrow, I'm going to select both of them. We're going to convert these type objects into vector outlines. To do this, go to Type and choose Create Outlines. Notice that when you do this, you've lost your baseline, and now you can see the vector points for all of your different characters. Additionally, if we go back to our Layers panel, you can see everything is grouped together. And if I expand these, each of the different characters are inside of their own sublayer. If I wanted to select any one of these characters, I can go into my Layers panel, let's expand it a little bit, and I'm going to click carefully on just the M layer and the little circle to select just the M. With it selected, I can use my arrow keys to nudge that letter over just a bit. Let's do the same thing. I'm going to select the O, so click on that. Use the arrow keys to nudge the O over, and then finally select the N and nudge that one over to bring just those characters in just a little bit more. For the word cafe, let's scroll down. I'm going to choose the letters C and hold down Shift and A, so both of those are now active, and then use our arrows to nudge that over just slightly to there. So now our letters are nice and tight and close together with each other. Finally, I want to go back to my lemon layer and select the letter L. Let's do something a little bit more dramatic with it. I'm going to use my mouse, my selection tool, and with the L selected, I'm going to click and drag it until it's nice and even underneath the A. So it's perfectly lined up right about there. If you need to use your arrow, you can nudge it over. But I want to put the L directly underneath the A and line it up underneath the I as well. This is a great stopping point for this one, so we'll go to File and Save. Continue on. Now this next part tends to be a little bit tricky, but we're going to create a custom graphic from the existing letters. The first thing we need to do is to go to our Layers panel and let's turn off visibility for the word cafe, just so we can see the word lemon. We want to take the letter I and convert the little diamond dot into a leaf shape. So to do this, we need to select the letter I in our Layers panel. And since this is a compound path, meaning that the little diamond dot is connected to the body, we can go to Object, down to Compound Path, and choose Release. If we look in our Layers panel now, you can see that the diamond and the body are in two separate layers. So let's just select the diamond. Now the book is going to simply say to use your existing knowledge to convert this to a leaf shape, and it doesn't really tell you how to do it. So here's Mr. Ivy's method of converting this shape. First, I use my direct selection tool, the white arrow, and I click on the topmost anchor point and I'll drag it kind of off to the side. Next, I'm going to choose my pen tool. Remember, with the pen tool, you can hold down your Option key and click on a path and convert that straight line into a curved line. So let's do that for each of the different sides, and also for this top until we get something that we like. From here, if you need to continue to finesse the look of it, choose your direct selection tool again and click on the anchor points until you get a shape that you are satisfied with. Yours doesn't have to look 100% perfect. Just get something that you're satisfied with that looks more or less like a leaf. I'm satisfied with that. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and save it just so I don't lose it. And also with the top of it selected, let's change the color of this to be a medium green. Go up to our fill color at the top, choose green, and now I've got the green selected for the top of that with the body of it being black. Next, let's go back to our layers panel, turn on visibility for the cafe, and we want the bottom of the F to match the curve and outline of the green on the top. Here's how I would do this. Use your direct selection tool, the white arrow, and click on this bottom anchor point and drag it up. And then click on this other bottom anchor point. Let's drag it up as well. And to match the curvature of it, we'll grab our pen tool, hold down Option, and then click and drag until we get a curve that matches the curvature of our leaf. Again, yours doesn't have to look 100% perfect, but you can always use your direct selection tool in order to make any small changes that you want from it. I'm going to do Command and the minus sign and back out. The last thing the book's going to have you do is to extend the L of the lemon to go all the way underneath the N. I've got my direct selection tool, and I can click on the last path on the L and simply drag it all the way out. I'm even going to pull it up a little bit to pull out that particular edge. That's it. That's all you had to do for those particular shapes. Finally, to end this stage, let's choose the O object. So I'm going to go to the Layers panel, click on the letter O. We're going to hit the Delete and delete it away. Uh-oh, I had the wrong one selected. That was in, there's the O. Hit Delete. Now it's deleted away. And let's replace the O with the lemon that we created. I'm going to collapse the type. I'm going to turn on visibility for the lemon. And let's also unlock it. Then use your black arrow selection tool to click on the lemon, hold down the Shift key, and drag it till it gets smaller. And I'm going to move it into place. Again, hold down the Shift key as you click on your bounding box. Let's place it into place. To rotate it, move your cursor outside of the bounding box and click and drag. Let's make it a little bit larger, just to fill in this particular point and shape. And there we have our Cafe Lemon logo already created. This is a good saving point. Let's go to File and Save, and we'll continue on to the next stage.